I testified.
I testify.
I testify.
I testify.
I testify.
I testify.
I testified.
I testify.
My name is Brian Barajas. I am a family reunification attorney with New Way of Life, and currently I'm also working with Doors and providing family reunification services there. I would like people to know that we provide help for anyone that's looking for family reunification services, especially if they feel like they have no one to reach out to. And I also would advise them to try to communicate with their attorney if they have one, if they've been assigned an attorney, to try to build a communication, because it's really important to get the ball moving as quickly as possible. An incarcerated parent has many obstacles to go through, especially if he or she loses custody of their child. The court oftentimes provides an appointed attorney if it's deemed applicable or if they've deemed necessary. However, many of these attorneys have a huge caseload, and it's very hard for them to even get in contact with their attorney. So I think it's very important for a parent to know their rights, reach out, so such as agencies just like in New Way of Life, in order to get informative information, informative evidence of what happens in dependency court and how important it is for them to start their own research and their own progress through it, and not relying on the county or state to provide them those services. Other requirements that parents have to go through in order to meet what the court wants of them, I feel it can be at times overwhelming. That's why it's really important to have a communication. That's why it's really, really important for a parent to maintain communication with their attorney, and oftentimes express either their struggles with meeting these requirements, or finding additional help so that they can complete the requirements mandated by the court. I think society hasn't provided enough resources for incarcerated parents, or they haven't been able to properly inform them of their rights, and that's unfortunate because, for example, in the criminal justice system, I feel there's a movement where people want to know their rights and what they can do and what happens when you get stopped by a police officer, for example. But when it comes to dependency court issues, I feel there's not that same type of information that's available for a parent to access. So it's important for them to do their own research, find out who they can reach out to, who they're comfortable with, in order to find the people that can help. Yes. So I have a background in social work by my MSW, and I also have, I'm a lawyer, and I've noticed that there are a lot of similarities with social work and law, and combining both is essential, especially when it comes to family law, dependency court, because social work adds a different dimension to how I'm practicing. I understand the social worker's position in dependency court, and understanding and gaining a better understanding on how a social worker thinks, or what she's required to do in terms of filing a petition, makes my job a little easier in trying to provide the services necessary to help a parent reunite with their child. Attorneys don't have a background in understanding mental health, and I think it's very important to understand mental health when it comes to family reunification, for example, because many of them are recovering, many of them have gone through traumatic experiences, and it's very important to be empathetic and try to understand, place yourself in the mother's shoes and understand what she had to go through and what steps she is in terms of dependency court, or it could be family court or probate, doesn't matter. Just the position she's in, it's very important to understand what she had to go through in order to provide the support she needs and to help her overcome obstacles that are placed in our way. The most important thing that I want to address so that people know and understand is that the pendency court is definitely an area not many people are aware of or know the obstacles that they had to go through. So it's very important for, as a community, to try to provide support for these parents that have to go through the system, which isn't, oftentimes it's unjust, and that's why we're trying to provide services in order to help battle against that injustice. I testify because it's important to understand the many obstacles that parents have to overcome before receiving family reunification services.